Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another snapshot for Minecraft 1.18. Today we have 21w42a with brand new music added to the game, a new world spawn selection system and more. My name is Slime and I'm here as always to give you the most comprehensive guide to these changes. Let's start with a world-related gameplay change. The way in which the game selects where the world spawn location should be in any world has been reworked. It is now based on the same climate system that controls the biome placement and world generation, so you should no longer be able to spawn in the ocean or in some other inconvenient location. Speaking of that biome generation, that has been further tweaked as well in this version, with beaches no longer generating in between deserts and oceans. Badlands can now have extra gold higher up, all the way up to height 256. Water springs are slightly less common in this version and never generate above height 192, and lava springs have been changed so they are allowed to spawn in more types of blocks, which means that they now more successfully spawn in mountainous terrain. They can now spawn amid calcite, dirt, snow, powder snow and packed ice in addition to where they could previously. Let's talk about a change to the user interface. A new indicator has been added to the bottom right of the screen that appears in single player whenever the game is saving the world file. If you find this new indicator distracting, you can also turn it off, which is done using a new button in the video settings screen. Before we move on to the exciting new music in this version, let me ask you to please roll onto that like button. That helps the video spread through YouTube's algorithm, so I do appreciate it. Thank you. Now let's talk about the new music. 8 new tracks of background music have been added, playing when you are in the main menu and when you play survival in some of the new biomes. There are 3 tracks called An Ordinary Day, Comforting Memories and Floating Dream by Kumi Tanioka, who is also known for composing music for some of the Final Fantasy games. Another 5 tracks are by Raine, who also composed the music to the Nether update and for some other games like Celeste. Her tracks are called Stand Tall, Left to Bloom, Wending, Infinite Amethyst, and One More Day. The entire soundtrack is also available on Spotify and is coming soon to other streaming services. And that tracklist also contains one more song, Ancestry by Raine, which is currently not used in the game. There's also one more track, a new music disc from Raine called Other Side. It can be found in corridor chests in strongholds and spawner chests in dungeons. In dungeon chests you have between 1 and 3 draws from the list of items which contains the music disc, and for each such draw you have a 1% chance of it being the music disc. This is as likely as you are to find an enchanted golden apple in a dungeon chest. In the Stronghold corridor chests you have between 2 and 3 draws from the list of items with the music disc, and for each such draw you have a 2 out of 129 chance to get it. This is as likely as you are to find a golden apple here, or 1/10 as likely as you are to find an ender pearl. Just like Pigstep, the Other Side music disc doesn't drop from creepers, it can only be acquired as loot from a chest. The new music tracks are also distributed over the new biomes, so different tracks will play when playing the game at different locations. Together with the new tracks, some of the pre-existing tracks can also play at these locations. In Dripstone Caves, the tracks An Ordinary Day, Infinite Amethyst, and Wending can play. In Lush Caves, An Ordinary Day, Floating Dream, Left to Bloom, and One More Day. The Meadows soundtrack contains Left to Bloom and One More Day. In Groves you can hear Comforting Memories, Infinite Amethyst, and Wending. Frozen Peaks can play Stand Tall as well as some older tracks. In Jagged Peaks, Floating Dream, Stand Tall, and Wending can play. And in the Stony Peaks you might be treated to Stand Tall and Wending. On the Snowy Slopes you can listen to An Ordinary Day, One More Day and Stand Tall. Finally, the new tracks that can play in the menu screen are Infinite Amethyst, Left to Bloom, One More Day, Stand Tall, and Wending. Now, if you want to hear these tracks without the randomness of having them play in-game, I'll leave a link to the Spotify page where you can listen to all the tracks, including the Ancestry track, which isn't in the game yet. And that's it for the changes in this version. Thank you to the rockstar viewers out there who watched all the way to the end, I do appreciate it. And while you're here, why don't you check out another one of my videos, like this one?